We are witnessing history being made right now, right here. This is Tesla Optimus bot working autonomously, and Elon Musk, I will show you later, has confirmed that no human is doing anything to this bot right now. It is functioning completely autonomously, and as you can see, it is completing this task that a human would do, and there's no human actually doing it. It's the bot doing it. It has precise movements, and of course, there's no room for error, relatively speaking, but it's actually able to do it. And you will see in a moment, it actually corrects. It made a mistake, and then it corrects itself. This is mind-blowing, what we are seeing here, and this is how they were able to make it work autonomously. This is how they trained the bot, but the bot that you saw actually was working autonomously. Elon Musk did confirm that, and it's a bit slow still, yes, but it will get faster, and it is able to walk autonomously. I don't see any cables. I don't see any support here. And yet it's taking these relatively long walks, and it's only going to get better. And of course, it's powered by Tesla's FSD computer. And as Tesla's vehicles get better, so will the Tesla bot, because it's FSD software. And if you like what you're seeing, click the like button. And going forward, I will only post full daily news videos on this channel, so subscribe if you haven't yet. Otherwise, YouTube is likely not going to show you these videos anymore if you're not subscribed. A Tesla bot engineer says, over the past couple of months, our awesome manufacturing team has built more bots for us to work on and collect AI data from. So the progress is being accelerated. We have trained and deployed a neural net allowing Optimus to start doing useful tasks such as picking up battery cells, coming down a conveyor, and precisely inserting them into a tray. And he confirms that this neural net is running entirely end-to-end, meaning that it only consumes video coming from the bot's 2D cameras, as well as on board proprioceptive sensors, and produces, joins, control sequences directly. And here's a big one, pay attention now. It runs entirely on the bot's embedded FSD computer. In other words, when Tesla makes progress with FSD, the bot gets better. Now, how many humanoid robot companies do you know that also have, 6 million vehicles deployed that have basically full self-driving computers collecting data out there right now to make FSD better? Powered by the onboard battery, it is designed such that a single neural net can perform multiple tasks as we add more diverse data to the training process. While not being perfect yet, and still a little slow, we're seeing increasingly high success rates with less frequent misses. And the thing is, with FSD, you basically cannot make any mistakes, but if a bot works at a factory, mistakes are fine. No one dies if a bot drops a battery. And even if a bot sticks its hand into some machine and loses its hand, no big deal either. We're also training Optimus to recover from failure cases, and we are seeing spontaneous corrections happen. We've deployed a couple bots at one of our factories where they're being tested daily at the real workstations and continuously improving. And as we saw, Optimus also now regularly takes long walks across the office without falling. Further work is ongoing to make it move faster, as well as dealing with more adverse terrains, all without sacrificing the human-like nature of it. We're also focusing on repeatability across the fleet, training the neural net to deal with dynamic calibration and small bot-to-bot variants. And more updates soon, he says. Now, what are the constraints that are limiting bots' progress? AJ thinks it's data, and data. But then what's preventing all 100,000 Tesla employees from wearing cameras and sensors at work? I think this makes sense. You basically need a bot and a person. So a person operating the bot like this to gather data. So you also need a lot of bots. And I think maybe Tesla is still validating their concepts. If indeed it is data that is being the constraint, I think we are about to see thousands of bots made and thousands of people people training these bots. And Elon says that the new Optimus hand later this year will have 22 degrees of freedom, which is really impressive. Tesla's making progress and is making it fast. And here's Elon confirming that there's no human in the loop anywhere. Elon also says the actuators will move almost entirely into the forearm, just like how humans work. Omar pointed out something really bullish for Tesla stock investors. Warren Buffett just talked about FSD at Berkshire annual meeting. Perhaps lots of investors there will be interested in researching more about what it's all about. Buffett pointed out that if Tesla reduces car accident rate by 50% via FSD, which by the way is inevitable, it's going to be bad for insurance companies. Although on the flip side, you could also possibly make an argument that for some period of time, the people might be driving so much more than before because, right now, if you want to go someplace, if you don't have that much money, maybe you're going to get on a bus. Or for example, I sometimes want to go to Stanley Park here in Vancouver, but it's 4 p.m., 5 p.m., it's rush hour, it's terrible getting there. No way I'm doing that during rush hour, but if I can call a robot taxi at the same time, if I can do some work while on my way there, now that's a different story. So for example, if FSD was 4 times safer than human driving, but people were driving 4 times more, just on theoretical numbers, the number of accidents would be exactly the same. But I personally think once FSD is safer than human driving, progress will still continue really fast because so many people will be using FSD and there's going to be so much more data, and we can see how much compute Tesla has, and it's insane. So yes, when Tesla solves FSD, inevitably there will be a lot less accidents. Oh, Elon is making more predictions or more promises. Actually, Smart Summon and Banish Auto Park with no one in the car is coming soon. Big Tesla fan Gregor Trek points out, though, you said actually Smart Summon last month. What's up, dude? I'm assuming that it's likely to be included in FSD v12.4. Farzad points out the obvious, that it's only going to take 2 weeks, which is something that we as investors don't really want to hear about, because 2 weeks often means a lot longer than 2 weeks. Not quite 2 years, but it's a lot longer than 2 weeks. And we are seeing some massively good news with the latest FSD version. I saw a few mixed experiences with the latest FSD point release, but looking at the actual data, I think this is more important than what one single person experiences. And James says, in my opinion, this chart is more impressive. V12.3.6, which is the version I don't have yet, I have 0.5, has taken a dramatic turn for the better, it seems. There should be more people adding data to the tracker. You can see right here, miles to critical disengagements in the city, and you can see 12.3.4 was right here, but the latest version is significantly better. We went from about 150 miles per critical disengagement to now over 300 miles. Now, it's not a crazy amount of data. 177 people report the data in the tracker, but it's the best data we have so far, I think. And there's someone saying that this latest version of FSD is much better for him. Many more no intervention drives. Someone is being incredibly skeptical about this chart. Very few people add data there. Most of the data comes from California, and total miles driven is just under 2,000. It's not statistically significant. You can see pretty much everything you need to see here, how much data and all of that. Now, 2,000 miles, that's fairly significant. Now, the most important thing is, let's say this approach is flawed, and of course it is. But when you compare a flawed approach to its previous points, and if there's a major jump, and if that jump continues, clearly there's progress made, because that flawed approach will have the same flaws in all of the previous data as well. And look, you might say there's a lot of data from California, and yes, 1,000 miles is a lot of data from California alone, but that's only half of all of the data. So there are over 1,000 miles outside of California that's considered in this data set. But of course, I agree with Omar 100% on this. There's nothing to see here. You should move along. Just like there was nothing to see in early 2019 when I became a Tesla stock investor. And by nothing to see, I mean for those that are legally blind. In the meantime, Waymo.
What the
That's a reaction that many people are having about this. Now, I think with FSD deployment, you will have weird things like this happen, but at least no one was hurt and it looks fairly controlled, but later it did accelerate quite fast and it's going. I mean, I think this is just a one-way road. Is there, yeah, just one way, at least on this side. I think on that side further out there is traffic perhaps going in the other direction, but I'm not sure. I would assume that this lane is sort of like a middle lane between two traffic directions. But the real question is, why isn't Dan O'Dowd complaining about this software? It's almost like he knows that Tesla is way more likely to solve autonomy unlike Waymo in a way that will actually scale and be deployed to the masses, and therefore is going to hurt his business. And I think he's right. Ross Gerber says robotaxi will be a highly competitive business with much lower profits than what people think. Transportation is becoming a commodity. He's referring to Waymo, saying that in the coming weeks we will begin testing fully autonomous rides without a human driver for our employees on San Francisco Peninsula. But Waymo's cost per mile is really high, and they need HT maps, and one thing changes on the roads and the whole system breaks. But Tesla's robotaxi cost per mile will be extremely low. Warren estimates less than 20 cents or maybe even 10 cents. So if one company's robotaxi costs well over 100,000 to make and deploy, and Tesla's robotaxi costs under 20,000, how do you think this is going to end? Congress is about to pass a law requiring AM radio in all new vehicles. Electric vehicles typically don't have AM radios due to interference from the motors. I personally don't use AM radio ever, and I share the same experience with Thomas here. I personally have never even used FM radio in my Tesla. And any emergency alerts, I get them on my phone. Something just comes up, it makes a loud noise. Earthquake alert. So I personally don't need AM radio to get alerts. Elon Musk says, please take a moment to vote your Tesla shares and let us know if you encounter any issues with voting. And Omar says, this is the most important shareholder vote he can remember. I think that's definitely right. Vote if you haven't yet. For those of you who think that this compensation package is definitely going to be reapproved, just read some of the comments in the comment section and you will definitely see quite a few people saying I voted against the compensation package. And keep in mind that people that watch my videos, I would assume they would tend to have a similar opinion like I do. So I say vote to reinstate Elon's package, and yet people that watch my videos, many of them vote against the compensation package. So I definitely don't think it's a sure thing that Elon will get his package reapproved. And look at Cogwin Leo here, the biggest retail Tesla stock investor. He got billions invested in Tesla stock. He says suckers. The magician, Elon Musk, was only for money and power. He threatened walking away with 13% of the shares gifted by shareholders, Tesla's AI knowledge and AI team. But shareholders and the board are lying flat, kowtowing to him, ungrateful, and his mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy was a ruse to suck in naive investors and engineers to join in. Interestingly, he just reposted this. I am a long-term shareholder. I am a buyer, not a seller. I buy and hold Tesla until 2030 or longer. I love Tesla and Elon. He loves Elon. I sent some conflicting messages here. I would like Leo to clarify what he means by reposting that tweet from before that he loves Elon. It would appear to me that his opinion has strongly changed. He also says pay $3.5 billion for measly roughly 0.8% of Tesla in the market. What is your skin in Tesla? He's replying to someone calling Leo an ungrateful son of a female dog. He basically says that Elon Musk has taken out $39 billion away from Tesla and still got well over 10% ownership of Tesla. It's a robbery of 10,000 years, but he wanted 10% more. Brainless suckers cluelessly are assisting this robbery attempt. Jason has a colorful reply to Leo. How about you stop telling retail investors to railgun their own manhoods with a no vote, Leo? This vote is such a mind-blowingly obvious yes that I'm starting to wonder exactly who you are and what your financial stake in Tesla actually is, including any hedging and shorting. I am at a loss as to why someone with so many shares could be so incredibly stupid and entitled with this vote, says Jason. We know that before Tesla stock jumped quite a bit in the last 5 years, Leo had a leveraged position and he lost it. So does Leo have some sort of leverage again that he used to increase his Tesla stock holdings? I don't know, but given his track record, there's certainly a probability that's the case, which would, to some degree, explain the fierceness that he has. Because typically we don't hear anything at all from Leo if Tesla stock is over $200 per share. And when it starts dipping below 200, and especially around 160, 150, we seem to start hearing from him a lot more. Elon replied to this comment with a laughing emoji. The simplest explanation I can think of is that Leo wants Tesla to crash in the short term with an options play, and he's massively underestimating either Elon's likelihood of leaving or the long-term impact of Elon actually leaving. He cannot be this dumb. Billionaires are typically not dumb, except for Mark Cuban. Omar points out that the new version of Dojo is going to be using TSMC's 2nm A16 process, which is an improved version of its 2nm. Previously, they were on the 7nm process node for the Dojo D1 chip, he thinks. Omar is also wondering, what is a wafer? Instead of using tiles, independent chips cut from wafers and connected again, they produce the entire wafer with everything on there and connected. Caveat is that there are manufacturing errors on wafers, and by not tiling together, you need to ditch the entire wafer. If there is an error in any circuit that you cannot disable for operation. Advantage is, of course, unrivaled connection speed. This reminds me slightly of gigacasting technology. Instead of many small pieces, you just have one big piece, but if you do something wrong with that one big piece, you throw away the whole thing and you start again. But if you do use gigacastings, your whole vehicle is going to be a little bit better. Stiffness, rigidity, everything is just going to be a little bit better. Check this out. Things are moving forward. Walmart has taken delivery of a Tesla Semi. The truck has a Walmart Transportation LLC sticker on the main cabin. So we have heard about Pepsi, Walmart, and there's one more company that is in the food industry that we had confirmation about as well. And supposedly up to 9 other companies have received or are about to receive the Tesla Semi as they are slowly being produced at the prototype production facility near Giga, Nevada. When you look at Tesla's vehicles, one thing that they excel at is performance and value for the money that you pay. So keeping that in mind, what kind of a buyer do you think is a truck buyer? Is it someone that really values value for money, or someone that makes purchasing decisions based on emotion? Keeping in mind that these decisions are made by business owners who are successful because they make decisions using logic. Eventually, I believe Tesla's Semi business is going to be fairly interesting to watch and will contribute, relatively speaking, to today's Tesla stock price, a large increase to Tesla's valuation. I mean, compared to Tesla's FSD business, it will be a rounding error, more or less. Not quite, but sort of. But compared to today's valuation, I mean, it's going to be significant. You can see my numbers on Patreon if you're interested. And FSD is going to help the Semi business even more. And look, even the biggest critic of FSD says that it's basically already autonomous. Tesla Full Self-Driving is level 4. It's in the name. YouTubers have their hands off the wheel and feet off the pedals for an hour as FSD drives them through a city. How is that not autonomous? Today's video about the Optimus gives us a peek at their human data collection farm, which I believe is Optimus' biggest lead. Optimus hands are among the best 5-finger dexterous robot hands in the world. It's got tactile sensing, 11 degrees of freedom compared to many competitors with only 6 to 7 degrees. By the end of the year, it's going to be a lot more. So the gap between the competition and Optimus is only going to widen. You need more than one robot to collect data in parallel. Well-trained human contractors taking multiple shifts per day, preferably 24/7. So now we know why Tesla was hiring for night shift workers to work on the Optimus bot, and an on-call maintenance crew to make sure that the robots are always busy. That's a ton of operational complexity that academic research labs don't even think of. This past week, the US Senate introduced a bill to end the federal EV and charging stations tax credit, so basically subsidies, should the tens of billions per year in US oil and gas subsidies also end. Most agree, yes, they should, or make them roughly equal at least. Someone is posting Cybertruck for free, you know, someone who typically charges millions of dollars for sponsorships, so that's free advertising for Tesla. I don't know how much this helps Tesla, but I'm sure it does. Omar is praising Tesla FSD. FSD noticed these people were going to cross the street before I did. It is routinely exceeding human perception. AI in cars will save so many lives, it is so obvious this tech will be mandated in all new cars. And James seemingly is feeling fairly bullish about FSD too. If V12.4 is as big an improvement over V12.3.6 as we saw going from V11 to V12.3, the bull suit is going to be back on and in a hurry. Don't say you were not warned. James is also very excited for Ashley Smart Summon and Banish. This will be very futuristic and drive massive brand awareness to Tesla. Banish is when car drops you off and then goes park itself. It will be a massive viral marketing campaign. Every person who sees a Tesla operating driverlessly in the parking lot will want to know how they can get one. But Tesla needs to be really careful about that because some bad moments could easily go viral too. But once Tesla figures out how to do Banish, yeah, that's going to be quite a viral moment for sure. And that's going to be it for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Liking and subscribing really helps with the YouTube algorithm. So if you like me spreading news about Tesla to other people on YouTube, make sure to like the video. It will help. Thank you so much, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode.